Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Demastered. I'm Chelsea, and I'm here with Wade as always.
Yo.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about a movie I know you didn't see. I'm just saying that right now. This is the Marvel movie I know you didn't watch, which is really, really unfortunate, but...
Oh, yeah.
I would also say, just pause this episode if you haven't seen the movie, but no, I know you're not going to watch it, so just listen to our episode, and then hopefully we will change your minds, and that you will give this movie a chance. And that movie, if you haven't already figured it out, is The Marvels.
The Marvels!
Yes.
And everybody's already stopped listening to the episode.
Yeah. Please no.
No. There's a lot of just like with the first Captain Marvel movie, there's a lot of just awful online noise about this movie.
Yeah.
But like the first movie, it doesn't require any noise. There's nothing wrong with the movie at all. You know, I think we both know why people get hateful about these movies.
Which is, that's a whole nother conversation.
That is a whole other
shame.
conversation. Yeah. But we're not going to let that conversation breathe because it's dumb.
No.
Because we love our peoples.
Yes. I'm going to say, I love Brie Larson, okay, you guys. So don't go off from the episode.
Please listen still. Get to the end and
yes.
then write us a strongly worded email if you must.
Yes.
That's fine.
But I think to keep people interested, I think the first thing I'm going to say, at least, I'm definitely at least speaking for myself. I'm pretty sure you feel similarly. I don't know. The Marvels was probably the most fun I've had in a Marvel movie in a very long time.
I felt the same way about the Miss Marvel TV show too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was it pulled you out of the crazy big expectations and stuff that some of the other movies had. We're over here dealing with our own thing, and that's okay. I felt the same way in this movie.
Yeah, I think it just works so well because it is a standalone movie, and I think that was really good because even though we're introduced to newer characters being in a movie, they each get their own little introduction.
They sure do, yeah.
So it is a movie with previously established characters. We obviously have Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, who appears in Captain Marvel movie and stuff, and then she was also in Endgame and Infinity War, right?
Was she in Infinity War? I don't think she was in Infinity War.
Was she in?
She was in the post credits.
Oh,
She's in the post credits, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, she doesn't have much time. But this movie, we get to see a lot more character development from her. We also get...
Well, and that's great, too, because, in universe, Carol... Well, between, her movie when she left Earth and then when she came back for Endgame, that was a huge jump of time right there that she was off doing whatever she was doing. But in this movie explores what, a little bit of, what had happened during that time and, mistakes she made... and how she felt about everything, and I think it does a really good job of explaining what happened with the Skrulls and the Kree, how her relationships with those groups of people and all these other things without we have to make a whole new movie just for that. I'm really glad they did not do that.
Yeah,
because I feel they covered it. It's fine.
Yeah,
we don't need to see everything.
Yeah, they definitely covered that really well, and then also just with her character struggling to remember who she once was before all of her severe brainwashing and finding some people would say her personality. She's just trying to figure out who she is, her own woman now, because she's in control of who she is. And it's just, so we have her, then we also have, oh my gosh, love her, we've talked briefly, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan.
She just adds her own little fun twist to this movie. This movie couldn't have happened without her being in it.
No,
she's so cute.
Oh my gosh. It adds so many layers to this movie with her just because she's just a huge fangirl.
Well, even the other two characters, her dynamic with both, with Captain Marvel and with Spectrum, or Photon, she actually doesn't really have a name.
No, she doesn't even get a name in the movie, and I thought that was so funny.
She kept shooting them all down.
Yeah, Monica is our other one, yes.
But she has such a unique relationship with both of the other women, and I love that because they spend a lot of the movie trying to slide past each other, Monica and Carol. There's just a lot of awkward tension there.
Yeah.
With how Carol left Earth when Monica was a little kid and as far as Monica never came back and stuff like that. They're weaseling around each other because they don't want to talk about things. And then there's Kamala being ridiculous And they're like teaching her how to like not be ridiculous. And she's just like, but I'm gonna be. So
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, for real. Like all their dynamics just work so well together, playing off each other. But also like for Kamala specifically too, I know kind of jumping ahead, but like she just always looked at like Captain Marvel doing no wrong. She's the greatest woman like in the universe, but also seeing like, oh, you know, what happens when you meet your heroes and they're not quite always what you expect, but learning also kind of growing from that of being like, you know, people are flawed, or people also have to make very difficult choices and you might not agree with them, but you might learn to understand.
But Kamala just immediately accepts her for who she is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you get the scene where, you know, Carol has to be like not pleasant with Kamala because they were in the middle of a crisis. And, you know, I was afraid that we're going to have to go through this thing where Kamala's like, oh, like, I'm not a good hero because Carol had to be strict with me, or like, wow, she's awful. Like, I can't believe I liked her. They didn't go that route, and I'm so glad they did, because it's Kamala. She just immediately was just like, that's okay. I understand.
Yeah. This movie is so great because you have a lot of those smaller, like, human, like, those like, kind of one-on-one conversations dealing with, like, real-world issues between, like, the relationships. And then also because, you know, this is a Marvel superhero movie, you also deal with crazy battles, crazy powers. I mean, I guess we could just initially kind of say real quickly, too, like, what the actual premise of this movie is, besides just them also dealing with everything going on. It's basically kind of like a body switchy movie in a sense, but it's because in a weird way, but like they're body switching places. It's more of this big event, or this thing happens because people like to touch the big shiny things, you know? And their powers become intertwined.
Yeah. Whoever's using their powers at the time, they switch places. Yeah. Which they move past that pretty quick, right? Like the distance between the three of them is just absolutely crazy. But once they start to switch, they get close together. Like they start to find each other like very fast. And I was afraid we were going to have to play this game of like chasing each other around for a long time. But no, they did a good job. Like, maybe partly because of Fury. I don't know. They did a good job of getting them together pretty quick and not being, like, comical. Oh, my God, we're switching places all the time in the worst of situations. Like, there's none of that really happening.
Yeah. It just, it really is, like, the initial setup, and they move right to it. Because then you also see, like, them also deal with, like, kind of almost resolving that issue quickly in a sense of realizing, like, working together. Like, they might not be on the same page like with everything else, but they want to at least like their powers in check, or at least it kind of actually gets parallels with their relationships of just trying to understand each other, where they're coming from, and learning more about each other and working as a team. Which I think there are some really, really great scenes in this movie of so many levels, from like some absurdly hilarious things and creative things they handle, which I think some of the editing and some of like just the style of the film is really cool. Like even with like some of those fights where they do switch, and like where they switch without realizing what was going on, and then which I was so glad that we got to have Kamala's whole family involved in this movie. Oh my gosh, for real. Them and her show, and I wanted to see more of them, and then we got them all throughout the entire film.
Oh, like the whole, I was afraid it was going to be just at the beginning, you know, and then they were going to take Kamala and leave. Nope, they're there. They're still there.
They're in space. They're everywhere.
Yep, they're at the sword station. They're up there with everybody else. And I love how, like, I love how they're up there, and like Kamala's dad is like sitting down with people, and he's like near unionizing them. Like he's like talking to them about like their insurance and like other like options and stuff like that. And these people are like taking notes. They're like,
They're like, wow, I've been living hundreds of years not knowing this information. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Like radicalizing the workforce over here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's so many scenes. Okay, and I don't know, I feel like we can go into spoilers because, like we said, listeners, we're just gonna give you it all. We want to convince you to watch this movie by just telling you all the so there were a couple things that I had read online before I saw this movie, and that I was kind of like and then I realized the stuff that I read online was like not entirely true, and it was just thrown out of proportion.
They nitpick the crap out of, well, like any movie that Brie Larson has been in for Marvel, they nitpick everything, and it's like, you know, there's also a 2-hour movie surrounding that half a second, right? you know, assuming they're like being truthful about whatever it is that's in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like, ugh, it's exhausting. I just went completely like internet dark on this movie because like I learned a long time ago, we don't listen to that.
No.
Make your own opinion.
No, and it was so good because I guess the only thing initially, like, because yeah, the things I read, I was like, well, I don't really care about that, but we'll see how they play out, and they didn't entirely play out the way people said online, and I was like, okay, you guys blew that out of proportion and thought it was the extreme.
Always.
But yeah, I don't know, there's so much to say about this movie, especially going into some spoiler territory, because like
let's go for it.
Yes, when I had read about that a K-pop star was going to be in this movie and there was singing involved, I was like, I sure hope that includes Brie Larson singing, and it
oh my God.
did.
Oh my God, that was the best scene of the movie. I will buy that movie so I can watch that scene so many times. So they get to this planet, like, because like the villain is tracking down basically like natural resources. So they go to this planet made completely of water. Except, you know, of course, like where the royal palace is, of course it's on land because why not? But they get there and they find out very quickly, well, Monica and Kamala do anyway, that Carol has some history with these people. She may or may not be married to the prince purely for political reasons and nothing else. A favor to a friend, mind you.
Mm-hmm. And she says that multiple times, which we'll get to another part
multiple
later.
Times. But also like so chalantly, like, it's not a big deal, shut up.
Move on.
But also that these people can only communicate through song and dance.
Yes.
Carol comes in, like they come in and they give them all new outfits and dresses and stuff fitting the occasion. And Carol just like takes a step and just like goes, you know, it's obviously old hat for her.
Yeah.
And the other two are just like jaw on the floor, like, what is going on? Well, one, Kamala's eating it up. She's like dancing and having a great time. Yeah. And Monica just kind of like keeps grabbing more drinks. Like she's just like, I don't know what's happening, but I need these right now.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know if I like it here. Yeah. What is happening?
No, those scenes are just, I've never been more happy, I think.
No, it was so refreshing because like part of it's kind of dumb, but it just works so well and it's so much fun.
Oh no, it is so dumb, but like so fun.
Yeah.
Like that's all.
And that's what makes it's just good dumb fun. It just adds enjoyment to the movie.
And it's not something that sticks there, like they have fun with it and then they move on to the next scenes, and it's so funny because like then the prince is talking normally with them and they're like, wait, I thought he had to sing, and she's just like, he's bilingual.
Yes, yeah, the way that was so funny, and it was just like
again, just like duh.
Yeah, well, because Carol, I think, was also just like, okay, I'm done singing. Like, this is just too much for me. Let's just talk. But it's just, and I think it works so well in the fact too. Like, this is like one of those movies in a sense that's very zany because I mean we're dealing with all these different like planets all across the galaxies. Like, it's, of course you're gonna come across a planet, so why not a planet where people can only speak? Yeah,
heaven forbid we showcase other silly cultures. Like, good lord.
Yes, for real. How dare you? No, but making the joke, okay, because we have to talk about the part that happened a little bit earlier in the movie, because that was quite a surprise. I was not expecting Valkyrie to show up.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh, it was
Is it the scroll?
Yeah, she brings them to New Asgard or whatever,
To New Asgard, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. I was like, wait a minute. Hello. And then I was like, okay, you and Carol, what's going on there? Like, you clearly have talked. Did
you see that online?
No, I didn't.
So they said their initial premise for that scene was that Valkyrie and Carol had dated.
Okay.
Maybe not deeply, like maybe just socially, but that they learned very quickly that their relationship was just better when it was a working relationship as compared to like a romantic one. That's a lot of
background that was not there.
Yeah, but they said that scene got too like it got too like bogged down in details when she was simply just showing up to pick up the scrolls and leaving again because you know they were trying, like, things were happening.
Yeah.
So they kind of went in for that like quick hug and there was some like body language, and like that was kind of it there.
Yeah. Because I was like, clearly they're really good friends, but I can't tell like what we're hinting at or if there's anything currently going on. But, you know, it was also just fun to see her because I was not expecting that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's always a good time to see Valkyrie. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, which this movie also has, we'll cover those, the post credits or
the post credits. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But we'll save that.
That's later. That's later.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. But I think with talking about this movie, even more like specifically with the story and not even just dealing with like our main three characters, but also talking about the villain. Like, I know a lot of times like villains in Marvel movies get a lot of crap because they're not like strong character, like they have a lot of character development and there's like mixed reasons why they're villains. But I think stuff I read about this character, I was like, well, people said like there wasn't a reason for why she was doing what she was doing. I was like, no, there was. And there's basically
a very big reason. Yeah.
And she's like basically became the villain in a sense, quote unquote, because
she had
Carol.
to.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
And she was doing it not for herself, but for her people, because you find out more about like, like we said, about like what Carol's been doing for the last like, 20, 30 years. Well, I don't know how much it's been. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. A long time, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was also like, the timeline's weird because I guess, I don't even know what year the movie technically takes place in, but we know it's a huge jump because Captain Marvel took place like the 90s. So, but anyway, so clearly a very long time. And also one thing she did was she was trying, I guess, was it basically like getting revenge on the Kree because they brainwashed her and stuff?
Well, yeah, she went to go stop the AI, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, like she said she was going to at the end of Captain Marvel. So we get to see that she flies back to the Kree planet. She goes straight there and she just rips that computer apart, which sets off a civil war within the Kree. And then via that war, like their planet basically is dying.
Yeah.
Like because of what happens in the war, like their resources are drying up. The sun itself is dying. Like
their air is not breathable. Yeah.
The atmosphere is dispersing. There's like no more water. So the villain, she's just like, well, like, we have to try to save our people. So she goes out, she tries to get, like a new source of water, a new source of air, and all these things so that her people can, like, the planet can continue to thrive, which of course means destroying other planets because now they're lacking those resources. And she, of course, blames Carol for it all because if Carol had never came to do that thing, then they wouldn't have to go to such drastic measures to survive. And what do they call her?
Her name?
They call her something. No, like Carol is the
Destroyer or something? Or Annihilate?
Something.
Oh no, why can't I think of it? I was going to say, was he like the
I can't remember what it is.
Destroyer.
Well, the villain is the new Destroyer. Like Ronan, he was the Destroyer.
Yeah.
She became the new Destroyer so that she could go and do the things. Which actually, before the movie came out, I was really curious where they were going with her character because they hadn't named her yet. And in the comics, Carol actually has a sister. She has a full Kree sister who she didn't know about. And in that sister, she actually becomes the new Destroyer for like the Skrull Kree Empire. Like she works for Teddy for a Hulkling, King Hulkling. Or Emperor Hulkling, I think it is. She becomes his destroyer. And I was curious if they were kind of setting her character up. No, they're not. Nope, not her.
Character, yeah. No. But I thought it was also a little bit of refreshing, too, to see the Kree in a different light. Because I feel like in, like, prior movies and stuff, they were just, like, straight up, just, like, kind of essential, like, one-note villains of, we want to kill and destroy, because YOLO, just take it all.
Well, that's how they are a lot, even in the comics. Like, they're often stronger than the Skrull, so they look like they're in the right, but they're just jerks.
Yeah.
They're just jerks.
But yeah, so it was a little different to see that, and I think in general, this movie was also refreshing because I think it works so well with all these different female characters having depth and stuff. I think adding to that further is because this was written and directed by females. And I think that just added more to it personally. So I'm just like, wow, this movie's better. We have more coverage. Yeah.
It did. We know that female movies being written by men turn out in a different way.
Typically, yes.
Yeah. So and again, let's not give air to that conversation today, or we'll be here for another hour and a half, I think. Listeners, I think hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully. But yeah, this movie was it's not even for girls. Like, it's written and performed by girls. It is not for girls. It's for anyone. It's not anything like that. But it is kind of refreshing that there's no romance in this movie. You know, there's no room for plot for romance, and that is so okay. Yeah. Not every movie needs to have that subplot.
Because even though Carol's like, quote, married for political reasons, this was not a whole romance like film going on.
No. She's like, no. Like, we're friends. I married him because it helped him, like, within his culture, and and I'm gone. And everybody's super happy with that. It's purely a marriage for political convenience. So he can do his thing for his people, and that's it. Yeah. Like, she's held to no obligation to do anything. Yeah. They celebrate her when she gets back, and that's it.
Yes. And like, yeah, it just really focuses on like our core three and their relationships. It's just really great to see that, because like I said earlier, that this movie does a really good job of setting up everybody's backstories. So if you hadn't seen, like, because Kamala Khan is in her TV show Miss Marvel, but I mean, totally recommend. We have a whole episode on that show.
Oh, go watch it.
Yes,
it's so fun.
Go watch it.
And you don't have to wait every week for it. You get to watch it all at once.
No, and it's like, what? I think it's only 6 episodes. So
yeah, it's real short.
Yeah, no, totally worth it. And like Monica, her first ever appearance was actually in WandaVision, for those who might not know. So you get a little bit of that in between, and that, like, which some of those scenes from that, like, in the movie are directly from WandaVision, where you find out, like, because she was gone during the blip, like, she was blipped away. So, and like her stuff with her mother, and which was a little surprising in this movie too, when you find out, like, Carol did see her.
Like when you find out that Carol did actually come back.
Yes.
To see Monica's mom, which was heartbreaking.
Oh my gosh. That
was a hard scene when they're sitting there talking about the cancer and everything else. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because the whole time, Monica's been like, because like Carol like doesn't age, like, basically, and Monica has grown up this whole time. She was a child in Captain Marvel. Like, she's grown up, like, because she always saw like Carol as her amazing aunt, and was really held on to the promise, I was coming back. And then you find out more about Carol's struggles and why she didn't come back, because she just felt like she wasn't a good enough person to come back, because she needed to fix everything that she had destroyed. But she, of course, doesn't tell everybody until they're like, where have you been, Carol? Like, we need you.
Well, like,
and she's like,
when we finally get the scenes between Carol and Monica, though, like, they dance around it.
Yes.
Because Carol doesn't want to bring it up, and Monica doesn't want to go there. But when they're finally, like, forced to sit there with each other and talk about those feelings, I felt those scenes were very good. Like, they're very powerful. Yes. There wasn't, like, anger. It wasn't like Monica was not, like, so mad at Carol that, like, it wasn't going to work itself out. But Carol was beating herself up about it. Like, Monica could see the full picture of the situation. But, like, Monica was still able to give her peace. Like, she was still able to have her feelings out there, too. And once they got, like, back together afterwards, like, oh.
Yeah, it was so great. I was so happy to have those moments, because I'm like, it had really been leading up to that, hinting at it, and like WandaVision
such a
and
long
stuff.
time.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, please, we need to resolve this. And I think it's because too, like, Monica, like, being wanting, because I think she was always open to, she always wanted to see Carol again, but she was just so mad because she felt like she was left all alone. And then you find out, like, more, and then they come to that realization, because she's had all these years been thinking about this, about like Carol, where is she, like, I need you and stuff, and just, it's great to see. And then just Kamala in the middle, you know.
Just happy to be there.
Yes. But also, yeah, and even growing up in a sense too of, becoming her own hero, and like we said, talked about like her learning about those hard choices, but not getting mad, and learning from Carol, and just setting up future things.
Oh my gosh. Well, like, really, before we do that, like, I love how they they continue to adapt Kamala's powers. Like, she's got the hard light, right, instead of stretching her hands. Well, she's a little more experienced with her powers in this movie, so she's using her hard light powers as if they are extensions of her physical being. So she is stretching herself in lots of scenes, you know. And when those scenes happen, they go by real fast. You have to really watch her. And I'm just like, oh, like, there it is. Oh my God. But also, like, the scarf.
Yes.
Like, she's kicking ass with her scarf.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, yes, this is Miss Marvel. This is, like, I'm like pounding the seat in front of me. Like, yes, this is Miss Marvel.
No, it was so great to see. And I was like, wow, like, she's been through a lot. Like, yeah, she's a lot more like, yeah, like with her powers and everything. We got to see some really cool things and just, yeah, no, I'm excited to see more. I hope there is going to be a potential season 2, maybe. Or just, I mean, we're clearly going to get her in something down the line. Yes, future something. But, actually, before we talk about that, I forgot to talk about one other part that I just absolutely was, like, laughing and enjoying watching. So there's a part near the end of the movie where the sword station is, like, being destroyed. And, like, they have to get everybody off. But, like, the escape pods, there's not enough. God. Oh my gosh, I never knew I wanted something like this. The music, the drama, the slow-mo shots, because you find out, like, Goose, the Flerken, Carol's cat, yeah. Was had a bunch of babies, and so there are so many little adorable little cats everywhere,
like,
but
kittens running around, little mutant kittens running around, and they're like, oh my God, we only have like one.
How are we gonna put
one escape pod? And so they sick the cats after all the people. They have them eat everybody on this station, and then they put the cats in the pod. And when they get back to the planet, the cats just vomit the people out.
Oh my gosh. It was...
That was art.
Amazing.
That whole scene was art.
Yes. And then
you see people running in terror as these kittens are chasing them and then sucking them into their mouths.
Yeah, just the whole thing was like the shadow looming closer, the person just be like, oh my gosh, and then you just see the little cat go just like,
because the people think they're legitimately gonna die. They think they don't know that that's the plan. They think they know that something awful's happening, and then all this small army of kittens is chasing people around and eating people. They think that is what the issue is.
Oh my gosh. And like Kamala like holding one of the kittens and just like huge smile on her face, just chasing after people, like everybody, like all the remaining cast,
like just holding the kitten out ahead of her, and it's just like
it's like pew pew, but like no, that everything about that scene was just incredible. It just further adds to this movie. Like you have those like we said, you have those really quiet moments, those like absurdly silly moments that just work so well with this. You have cool action scenes. You just have a little bit of everything. It's just, I mean, honestly, for me though, like when I think about some of the the more recent Marvel movies, like some of them I've been kind of enjoyed and stuff. Some of them have been like meh, but I have not had this much fun watching one of these movies in just a very, very long time.
Nope. Well, and so we have this great silly scene near the end with the Flerkens eating everybody, but then that leads us into like the finale, the final confrontation with the villain, who now has both negabands. And what's she going to do? She's going to take the sun, take Earth's sun, and she's going to teleport the sun back to like her solar system. And so the heroes, they go to stop her,
but not without sacrifice.
But
not death sacrifice, just lost.
Well, true. The characters don't know that yet.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
At
least our core characters don't die. Well, the villain does, but
the villain does. Oh yeah, she gone. Yeah. But we do lose Monica, who goes out in a blaze of glory.
Yes.
For a bit, which gives Carol a pretty nice ending to the story though, because she's like, what's the situation like after everything is done? She's moving into like the Rambo's old house, like from the first movie. Is are the Khans also moving in? Is that, or are they just helping Carol move in? I was very confused
about that.
Because it really seems like they're both moving in to the same house.
Because the mom says to Kamala's brother or something about like, this would be a great house for you to raise a family. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I don't know what's happening.
Oh, he's already married. He already
married.
Yeah,
yeah, because their whole wedding was in
because like Carol's stuff is obviously being moved in, but then like there's little things that like really insinuate that the Khans are also moving into. Which okay.
I mean, their house was destroyed, but
it was destroyed. So maybe they're just gonna be there for a bit. Because taking Kamala out of Jersey, like
I was gonna say,
she's like all
the
friends superhero of Jersey.
Yeah, all of that.
And
so
Bruno, you can't take her away from Bruno. You can't do it.
Well.
I refuse.
I know. Oh, Bruno.
But yeah, so we get this nice somber moment with Carol and Kamala as things kind of settle down, and because Carol's all like, well, like we lost Monica, like I don't know what to do, like that's also my fault, and Kamala's just like, but it's not, because everybody makes choices, and that wasn't your decision to make, that was not your choice.
And she's like, we'll both be waiting for her to return.
Yeah, like she'll be back. We'll find her someday.
But, which, actually, side note, I thought that scene, I know, before I get to that part, I thought that scene was going to be almost a little bit more lighthearted, because I thought Kamala was going to be like, I forgot to tell her the name I gave her. I hope she'll I thought she was going to give a code name for Monica. We didn't get that in the whole movie. I was very shocked.
It's so funny. It's so funny that, like, they didn't actually give her a name, because in the comics, that poor lady has had, like, 5 or 6 different names, which they use, like, Kamala comes up with a couple of those. And she just shoots him down. She's like, ew, no. Like, what? No.
No.
So if they end up calling her something, I'm really interested to see what it is.
Yes.
It's not Spectrum and it's not Photon. And those are
apparently
the 2 big ones. So we'll see.
Yes. But okay, let's talk about them.
Okay.
We got 2 scenes.
Do you want to do the Monica one first? Let's do the Monica one first.
Yes.
So, okay, so post-credit scene. Monica wakes up in like a hospital bed kind of thing. And she's looking around and she's just like, what is happening? And she looks over and her mom is sitting in a chair, but it's not her mom. So she's all like, oh my God, Mom, like, what's going on? I don't understand. And she's all like, oh, I don't know what's going on with you.
Like, who are you?
Because like, who are you? And she gets up, like she gets up from her chair and like, she is like Photon, like Spectrum. She is who Monica's supposed to be. And of course, Monica's like, what is going on?
And
then who walks in to explain the situation? Freaking Kelsey Grammer Beast.
Yes.
Like, what?
And
like
then
full like
playing.
Old X-Men Beast.
Yeah.
And the music playing. Oh my gosh.
Which was the Days of Future Past music.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Which was the last time we saw him, right?
I think so, yeah.
Which is, I was curious what was going to happen, because me sitting in my seat, my big comic book nerd self, when she like quote unquote died, I'm like, she didn't die, she's in another universe, because her powers allow her to do that. So I was like, gratification. Like, I called it. But you know, she's stuck in a different universe without a way, at the moment anyway, without a way of getting back. It's so fun that they did that, because that's part of her power set. Like using energy and light, she can just shift into another universe. Like, it ain't a big deal to her. But obviously we're exploring that part of her powers, which is cool.
Yes, and we're getting that major tease with mutants, with the X-Men. Or some form of them. Yes.
And I don't know, like, at the moment, as far as we know, this is it's not attached to anything. Like, there is not an obvious project that Monica's going to walk into next, or that's going to take place in like a different universe, except for Deadpool 3. But I don't. Deadpool 3 right now looks so weird, as far as like because there's so many like things online that's saying that like Deadpool 3 is actually going to end up taking place in the same universe that like Wanda wrecked in the Multiverse of Madness, you know? And like that movie, like the rest of the, like, not the Avengers, but whoever's left, you know, that Wanda didn't kill. Yeah. They're going to be coming after that Wanda for doing what she did, even though it wasn't her. But like Deadpool, like that's what part of the story for the Deadpool movie is, allegedly. I don't know what to think with the new Deadpool movie. It's obviously going to move him into like the current Marvel universe from
it's gonna be a wild ride.
Whatever universe he was already in. Whatever amalgamation universe he was in.
He's in his own universe in his head. No.
God knows. But I mean, there's a theory that, because at first I was like, oh my God, like it is that universe. Like, wait, no. Even if Monica's mom like survived in that universe, even if she did, she was Captain Marvel. She was not this figure. And I'm pretty sure like Beast says something about like, oh yeah, like Professor X is on his way. Like, he made a huge thing that said like Professor X was alive, and he's obviously not in that universe any longer. So
it's a different one or something. I don't know, but
I hope they have a good plan and they weren't just like throwing stuff out there to be fun about it, you know, and then trying to piece it together later.
But having Kelsey Grammer come back as Beast was just like,
that is
I was like, oh yes, like wow. So that was very exciting. And then you get another scene, which is just
oh my God.
Wonderful.
To me, this one is even bigger though. This one is even bigger. Go ahead. I'll do the last one. You can do this one.
Okay. You know, we get a classic scene where, you know, somebody's coming back into their home, but who is it? We have, oh no, I actually forgot her name. Kate
oh
Bishop.
My God, it's Kate Bishop.
I know Kate Bishop.
I'm over here bouncing and you're like, I know her name.
Yeah, I was like, you know,
casually
whatever.
Forgot her name.
Yeah, now I'm kidding.
Only
Kate
the
Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
And then we see who is already waiting inside. It's Nick Fury 2.0. No.
It's little Kamala. Yeah. Little Kamala sitting there on her couch with her little data pad doing the whole like, you've been chosen for something bigger.
Yeah. Join my Avengers project, not quite yet.
Yeah, Kate's like, cool. I'm like, okay.
Why are you here?
And then they bring up Cassie Lang.
Yes. Got that hint.
So, Young Avengers, here we go. Like, they can't pull back now, it's too late. So we got Kamala, Kate, and Cassie.
But you can't do more, maybe.
you can't do anything until you got Billy and Teddy.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
we know Billy's coming because he's in the Agatha, you know, Billy, Wanda's son.
Yes.
The one that has the magic powers, not the speedster. Although he'll be there too, I'm sure, more than likely. But Billy's going to be in the new Agatha show. But that show doesn't come out till like next Christmas or something like that. Now they keep pushing that sucker back.
Yeah, I don't know what dates everything are now. Yeah, they pushed everything back.
Yeah, but he's gonna be in that, like main character status.
Yes,
and they have to be creating Wiccan in this situation. And I don't like the amount of times that Brandon and I have had this conversation in the last few weeks. I could not tell you, but we've been theorizing like, how are they going to create Teddy? Like, because. I mean, they can just say, oh, like, he's, you know, he is who he is, and he's been on Earth, the same as Billy. You know, he can just be there, and then, like, oh my God, I have these powers. You know, they can just go that route. It's fine.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know, Teddy he's the son of the Skrull princess and the original Captain Marvel, like, the guy. So he's a Skrull Kree hybrid who is prophesized to be the one that brings the Skrull and the Kree together in like a new gigantic like space empire. And currently in the comics, that is a thing that is like, that happened like, I don't know, 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago maybe. That's a thing, but they cannot have the Young Avengers without Billy and Teddy. I will not allow it.
Yeah, I was actually curious if we were going to get, but there wasn't any like Easter eggs or little hints throughout the Marvels for anything to do with Teddy, so. But at least we know that like all the people were saved, so at least that sets up something, because, you know, Carol did help the Kree and the Skrulls went to go to New Asgard, so.
Oh, yes.
So at least we have.
They are there, yes.
Yes, they are there,
true.
yeah.
So I've seen some people think that like the Hulk's weird son
I have thought about
She-Hulk
that.
is going to like basically take the place of Teddy.
No.
I'll burn everything to the ground. I'll burn it all to the ground.
No, but I was thinking about like the son being like, well, he was just like randomly introduced, so I don't think it'll be that hard to like introduce like Teddy, because that was just like so thrown out there, like, yeah.
No. They can do what the comics did. Hey, Teddy exists.
Yeah.
And then later on they can go into backstory mode. Because when the Young Avengers were all introduced, like Billy was as the Asgardian because he had magical lightning powers and he wore like this little baby Thor outfit. And Teddy was the Hulkling, LOL, because he was green and was very strong. Turns out, no, neither of them are that at all. That's just how Billy was using his powers subconsciously to create lightning, although he can create realities. And then Hulkling is a shapeshifter and can become anything. So they went backwards on even who they were as characters. Like, that was a whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I love that ending just with Kamala just like taking on that role of you've been I've been watching you.
Seriously.
Like, yes.
We have data. You have data on me?
Look here.
She pulls up the little data pad like, we have data on you. Yeah. And Kate's like, okay.
And she's like, what are you, child? Like,
yeah, anything to get more sassy Kate Bishop back is fine. I love Kate Bishop in this
I
do
want to
series
see
so
more
much.
of her. Yeah, no, for sure. But that's what I'm like, that is just going to be such the interesting dynamic, because that's just like a whole new thing, because we are dealing with, like you said, young Avengers, but like they're so much younger than like the Avengers like originally, like in all the movies we've seen the Avengers, like they're like clearly like older adults, but having all these like young adults and just
yeah. Well, it's weird. They're in such a weird place with Spider-Man too. They could put Spider-Man in Young Avengers because he's the same age group as them, if not younger than a lot of them, you know. But like, it's also Spider-Man. He just works best as himself. Like, you know, I don't know. Like, if it's more Tom Holland Spider-Man, they could do whatever they want. I don't care. Like, I'll watch it. It's fine. But like him as an Avenger, like he wasn't really an Avenger. He just works with the Avengers. Yeah. You know, because he doesn't do the same things, and that's okay.
No. I guess I could almost see him being in it just because they're like, oh, it's just all the young people that we have in all these movies. Let's put him in there. But like, he's also
gotta
at a
keep
different
the franchise going.
Yeah, but he's also like in a different like life stage in a sense. Like he's already been through so much crap. Like the Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's already like hit all those highs and lows.
Not some
he's
not some green dude looking for the next big adventure into you know, like he's tired.
Yeah. He's already
poor kid. He's 18 years old and he's tired. But that's Spider-Man though.
Yeah.
Like
and he's alone.
That is very and he's alone. That just makes me sad. I don't want to think of the end of that movie. Okay. That just
we can just think about Kate and Kamala and
Kate Bishop!
What kind of insane friendship they're gonna have.
Oh my god! Imagine like, and then like the White Widow gets in on that too. Like,
I know
those three cannot be in the same room. They can't be in the same room.
I want
together.
that. I want that so bad.
I'm gonna have to go get drunk before I go watch that movie. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you think it'd be crazier than Flurkins eating people and being sent on a spaceship?
Never. Never.
Oh, I love it. But I mean, there's even more to be said about this movie, but I feel like we definitely covered a lot of the highlights. Do you think there's anything else we missed about it? Or?
Oh, I really don't think so. Like with lots of the Marvel movies right now, there is not a clear way ahead. Like for these characters, like it says that, you know, so and so will return, as it always does. But we don't. That, you know, they have messed with the Marvel calendar so much in the past year or so. It's really hard to know like what's gonna happen next, and I think that alone might help some people with their like Marvel fatigue that's going on. Like they don't have a specific thing to look forward to right now. That's okay. Forget about it. You know, enjoy other things. Don't pay attention to every single little announcement that this movie got moved to this month instead, and this show is coming. Don't pay attention to that. Do other things with your life, and when the next movie comes out or next show comes out, cool. Give it a shot. Watch it. Move on.
But do watch the Marvels, please.
But do watch the Marvels. It really is so good. It moves fast too. Like it's not a slow movie at all.
No, it's actually also one of the shortest Marvel movies like ever made. It's like one of the top 3 shortest ones. I think it's only like an hour, like 45 minutes or something at most.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's like nonstop. Like it really is pretty concise, but has lots going for it. Like we said, go watch it, please. or at least thank you for listening to this entire episode. Hopefully you at least got some appreciation for the characters out of it. That would be our goal.
Yeah. Even if you're like, I feel like I'm caught up with the characters, I can wait for the next project. Okay, at least we could do that for you. But let us know. Wherever you're listening to us, go find us everywhere on social media. So where are we at? Let's see. We got Facebook, Instagram. For the time being, we're on X/Twitter. Yes. We are on Blue Sky now as well.
Yes. And we have our episodes and gameplay on YouTube as well. You can find us all those places at Pod Demastered. You can also send us an email too at demasteredpodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, let us know. Have you seen this movie? Are you interested in watching it? Like, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think is going to happen next in the Marvel Universe. Let us know. But yes, I think that'll do it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. And we do love Brie Larson.
Always. Haters.
Bye.
Bye.